A good week, not too busy. Hello, hi Lee. Okay, so thanks to Lee and Shen that you are joining on the bank holiday. I hope you will have your day tomorrow then. So it just seemed to be a bit easier for all of us. So yeah, let's start with the session. I'm going to share my screen with you. So okay, today's agenda is similar like the last times. We're going to check the schedule. We're going to talk about your project work. Then there's a combined part of the self-study and the repetition. And then we're going to start with the consulting basics today and yeah, have an outlook like every time. So regarding the schedule, next week we changed to Monday from Thursday because I do have a business appointment on Thursday. That's not possible to move. The week after, as planned on Thursdays, and the week 24, we also should switch to Monday as the 10th is a bank holiday here in Germany again. So yeah, that's it for the moment. Probably the week after, the week 25, we will not have the Tuesday's lesson because we already have 3 lessons here on this Monday and this and today, which was not planned. So I think we do not need the Tuesday's lesson in week 25, but we will check that later. So for you, important is next week we will have session on Monday. That also means to me that you will not receive such a big self-study task because it's only 3 days. Okay, so your project work. I'm curious what happened. So yeah, who wants to tell me a bit more about your concept and your project plan? What did you do so far? How does the teamwork work? And what about your tasks? Maybe Lee, as a project coordinator, you want to start? Give me an update about your project work.
Oh, well, we start to protect. We start to prepare all the material we need. So we download. Personally, I download a lot of material from the internet, and yeah, that's what I did. What I did this week now.
Mm-hmm. So you did a lot of like literature research and to start with the first dive into the topics.
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so that means regarding your specific task, that was I have to check that. So that means especially these steps which are necessary for successful market entry, or did you just do like a basic literature research regarding the topic market entry in general? And the others, Ray, Chen, Liang, What did you do in terms of your project work?
Yang and I, we searched the information about some small and medium size company, RPA company, and we collect the theory we will use in this project work. That's we have done the last week.
Okay. And Chen, what did you do?
And this week, I mainly focus on the self-study topic because I think the question you're giving us is also related and it also help about our project work.
Okay, that's great. So you all did a bit of research and put different focus, and did you speak with each other or had a chat by WeChat or whatever? How did you communicate with each other?
Yeah, most time
we use WeChat.
On WeChat.
And Yang and I also found some fun findings and some paper on the internet, and we reviewed the the keywords the last week. And
you mean the chaos last week, right?
Yeah, we review it and we do it. Because we all think the periods we do is not the great, and we wanna do the better. So we do it, and it's not finished yet.
Okay. And do you have something like a timeline for yourself or for your team? For example, when at what time, at what date you have to be finished with literature research, or you have to finish like the theoretical fundamentals, which is basis for the other parts. So, did you already create a timeline for your team, for your project work? No worries. It's more important for yourself to coordinate your work. But I think last time, as if I understood Ray in the right way, it was very crucial and very important for you to clarify your tasks and your goals, and to understand what your to-dos will be. So I think this kind of project planning we did in Trello probably was helpful, and also your chats and discussions afterwards. And the next step should be to define timelines. It's pretty easy to use the Trello function. For example, you can just open a task, and then you can set a due date. And what you can do as well, if you think, for example, this theoretical fundamentals is pretty big, then you can also write down different dates for example, you can say literature research. Oh, that needs an upgrade. Sorry, this function only works if you have a paid version. But what you can do is that you edit the description, for example, and then you write down literature research until May, let's say 25th. For example, it's just an example, yeah? Create structure until May 28th, yeah, and so on. This you can do to give you more guidance, and I recommend you to do that for the bigger tasks. And then I would also recommend to set a due date for the first step, and then change it every time. So that means you would put this 25th. So you will keep in mind that the 25th is your next due date. And if you finish the task, say, 25th, I reached it, literature search done here. And then you can move the due date to the 28th and so on. This is just an idea how you can work with it ongoing. Yeah. These other tasks, for example, in the main body, they are already a bit smaller. So I think you only need this, there is no checklist at the moment, or just a small one, and you would set the final due date. Or what you also can say is that at a specific time, let's say in 2 weeks, a basic report should be ready, that you can share your content with each other. Yeah. Okay. Another question, which is not related to the content, but to the form. So what you have to do is to create a report template. And before you start writing, I really recommend you to create a Word-based or whatever application you want to work on, to create a template which uses the guidelines for academic writing. Yeah, you receive the information. To create a template where where all details are set in the format. So what I mean is, for example, that you create, oh, that's all German, sorry, but you can create the format like the headline, line 1 and headline, line 2. This is all defined in this handbook for academic writing. Yeah, and it's important that you create a template which yeah, sets all these requirements. So if you are writing in a single or in a personal template, and then later on at the end you want to bring together all your contents, then it will be a total mess. Yeah, because there you will try to bring together different format templates, and this usually doesn't work very good, and it leads to a lot of work afterwards. So please, someone has to create the template based on the academic writing requirements. Who is going to do that? Someone first? Okay, maybe another question. Did anybody ever created such a template? Okay, so there's no experience in the moment. What I can offer is that we do this together, one of your class and and we can take, for example, 30 minutes of the next lesson in the end of the lesson, for example, to do that. Who wants to set up the report template?
Okay, probably my headset isn't working anymore. I don't know if this is working. Webcam, no. So can you hear me? Can you just give me a sign, something?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Yeah. So, this. I don't know why this. Okay. Okay, I hope you can hear me now.
Yeah, quite clear.
Okay. So again, who will do this? Who will create this report template? So I can wait a lot of time. I think we're going to need 30 minutes in the next class. Do I really have to decide who's going to create the template?
I think maybe none of us did this before, so we really don't know how to do it and how to start it.
Yeah, that's the reason why I offer my help to guide you through that. And yeah, I would do that. I would prefer to do that with one person first, and then you can share your knowledge internally. But it's easier, I think, so to do it. Maybe Chen, you're going to try this with me next week on Monday, the last 30 minutes.
It's okay, but I may need more help.
Mm-hmm. Do you have? Are you working with Microsoft Word, with Microsoft Office, or?
You mean PowerPoint or
No, Word, this format.
Words? Yes.
Yes, okay. Perfect, because we are going to do that next week. What I have to do is that maybe I have to change the language and so on. So I don't want to do that right now, but I would prepare for next Monday. And in the last 30 minutes of the session, we both are going to create the template or the basic of the template. And what we need is, so I would ask you then to share your screen and to do it on your own. So I will not do that, but I will help you how to do it. And we also need this academic writing handbook of the Hochschule. So you received it in one of the first lessons. But no worries, we're going to do that. What you could do in preparation is to check the handbook for academic writing so that you will have it at hand and you can see what will be the typo and the size of the typo and so on. It's all written down. Usually you use, for example, Times New Roman or Arial as a typo. Yeah, we will decide that. Okay. I just make some notes for me. Perfect. What you internally have to define is how you will work with your documents. If you will have a space where you can add your documents, for example, the template, we can just add here because you can add attachments. Yeah, you can add that attachment here with a report template, and everybody can use this template. What's not working in Trello, unfortunately, is to work together and work on these documents. You always have a local copy and then you have to upload it again. But yeah, maybe you're working with Google Docs, or you have another option where you want to share on your documents. And also one option is that everybody is working in an own template, and you bring together your documents at a later, at a later date. Okay. So this will happen on Monday. Another question to you: what will be your next steps in terms of the project work? What do you do next in the next week? So I suggest and recommend that you set up a timeline together and set up. Lee, as a project coordinator, would you take care of this task, that you all come together in WeChat and set up your timeline? So it doesn't mean that you set up the timeline in person, but to keep an eye on it.
Okay.
Thank you. So Until when will you set up the timeline? Today is the 21st.
Maybe the end of this week.
That means Sunday. Sounds great to me. That means you can show me your timeline on Monday already. That's perfect. Okay. Due date Monday. Okay. Regarding the project work at the moment, what questions are open to you? What questions do you have? What's not clear? Everything okay so far?
Well, my question is, you know, we have several, we do the projector. Should we do it one by one, or I mean, communicate with each other with their project?
You mean with these parts here, 3.1 to 3.5, or what do you mean?
I mean, you know, well, how to say? It's we do the different part, so maybe we will draw different kind of conclusion in the end.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
my question is, should we discuss about the results we?
Yeah, I think I understand what you mean. So, for example, you and Chen, you are working especially on part 3.4, while Zoe is working on part 3.1. And if you do it separated from each other, you will probably come to different conclusions, or you will, for example, substitute your ideas or write down the same things or differently, you don't know. Of course, as in the end, you will submit one report, so which includes all these questions. You have to talk to each other. So the idea is to bring all this information together. Of course, what you can do is, for example, that in the end, in the conclusion, you can write that on the one hand, these ideas and suggestions for market entry are important. On the other hand, this, and there's a conflict. If you identify kind of a conflict, you can write it down in the conclusion. But therefore, I recommend that you talk to each other about your ideas in a very early state. And not when you're finished. Yeah. So please do not do literature research. Write down chapter 3.5, while Zoe, or 3.5, 3.4, while Zoe is writing down 3.1, and then bring it together, because then it's maybe too late. So in an early phase, you should share your results and ideas. Did I answer your question, Lee?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's exactly what I want to ask.
Yeah. And therefore, it's also very important that you all take a look on the theoretical fundamentals. Although Ray and Liang decided to be responsible for the writing of this chapter, it's a basis for the entire main body. Yeah. And so you all have to be involved. And maybe, for example, while you are doing research, Lee, for chapter 3.5, you find something which might be important for this chapter. And then you should hand over the information and the idea to Ray and Liang and your entire group, probably, as you are only 5. And maybe if you set up the timeline, you will also define, okay, let's do in the first week, let's do literature research, and everybody is writing down maybe something like a first idea of your total concept, yeah? And then you bring together your ideas, and then it's easier to go to take the next step. To dive deeper into your specific respective chapter. So what's important and what stands above everything is that you keep in mind that you are a project team and you're working on one project and that there's one goal to reach. Yeah, a team can only work on this. That means you always have to talk to each other and keep in mind that you have to align. And this is why I did this project canvas session with you in the first session, which made clear that you have different ideas and you have to bring together these different ideas to make one project report out of it. Okay. If that's all about the project work, I would say we do a 9 minutes break. So in 9 minutes at 20 past, we will come back. So let's do a quick break before we start with the repetition and the self-study contents and questions. Okay?